People are not letting up, man. They're still continuing to accuse and link Elon Musk's Starlink satellite system, claiming and accusing with conspiracies and all that the system was used to manipulate votes during the previous election, or the election that just passed, the one that Donald Trump won, right? Everybody is going in about it. Check them out.
That's suspicious.
Yeah, it's fine.
That's weird.
You guys are not going to understand what the flying F I'm fucking talking about, okay? Two things. Number one, why in the flying freaking flap, okay, were voting fucking ballot or voting ballot boxes or whatever, you know, the places where you go to fucking vote, why were they connected to the internet? There is absolutely zero reasons as to why those systems were connected to the internet. Those machines have absolutely no problem tallying up votes like they have done since the beginning of time. Not only that, this is why the numbers don't make sense. This is why the numbers don't make sense. And the reason why I'm going to tell you that is because, first of all, you had guaranteed states that were going to turn blue and didn't. Then you have millions of fucking, things that are missing. Now you have people that are all over the United States that are looking up their things and are stating that they were not received or processed. Because this right here is bullshit. I don't care how smart of a programmer you are. You cannot splice your own networking system to do what it's not designed to do. Do you understand what I'm saying? If you don't, again, message me and I'll explain it to you even further. I only have a couple more minutes. I want to play this video for you. If I don't have enough time to play the whole thing, I will repost it or I will send it to you myself. And not, like I said, and then the places that he sent Starlink to were only to swing states. Man.
I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I have had a feeling since Tuesday, and so has my family, that something was very off about this election and the results. We just couldn't quite pinpoint it. We just couldn't put our finger on it. And shout out to all the people who have made videos with information and divulging and divesting into all of this. It's really great informational help. And you know what? It makes sense. It makes sense that Starlink is a part of this, and Elon Musk it makes sense why Elon Musk is in this, why he just suddenly came out of nowhere. And I just couldn't quite put my finger on it because I didn't have enough evidence. I didn't have enough information to go off of a hunch, an intuition that I had. And as women, our intuitions are never wrong.
Yeah, so you see that, you heard that. Now, I find this to be hilarious, okay, that these liberals are out here making these false claims about Elon Musk using Starlink to affect the outcome of the election when there's no evidence whatsoever to back up these claims, right? And these claims seem to be very similar to some claims that were being made in 2020 in which a lot of people lost their livelihoods, a lot of people got sued for making very similar claims, right? So it sounds to me like Elon Musk probably should think about suing some people, right? Because of these claims being put out there that somehow he was trying to interfere with the election using Starlink, right? But what I want to say is this. If all of these liberals are so concerned about the voting machines, right, and potential vulnerabilities, then I don't know, maybe they should all agree that we should just have paper ballots, right? Paper ballots. And we do all the counting on election day. And hey, maybe we can all agree on that, right? Maybe we can all agree to just do it the old school, old fashioned way. Since these people are so upset and they're so butthurt by Kamala Harris losing to the point where they're pushing these types of conspiracies, voting machine conspiracies. Again, conspiracies that, hey, after the 2020 election, we're not allowed on the internet, okay? You cannot say these things, right? But, you know, we all know how it goes with liberals, okay? Liberals seem to not have to adhere to the rules that everybody else has to adhere to. They can just push these conspiracies all they want. Again, when they lose. They've done this every single time they lose. And then all of a sudden, just a few days after the election, they're in the stage of grief where, again, they're now denying, right? They're denying the outcome of the election. They're denying that Trump won in a landslide, right? This is what they're doing, right? So, again, you know, my thing is this. There's no evidence to back up these claims. These claims are false because, again, in 2020, right, when these types of claims were being made, what did the media say? They're false. And that you are an election denier. You are an insurrectionist. You are anti-American if you make these types of claims, right? If you question the outcome of the election. If you claim that there was some type of fraud that affected the outcome of the election. If you make those type of claims, okay, you are somebody that should be banned from the internet and sued out of existence, right? This is what they claim. So now all of a sudden, fast forward, when liberals lose, okay, they're doing exactly what they told you that you shouldn't do, right? You shouldn't make these type of claims, right? So I'm just saying that, lo and behold, right, we're at the stage now where these people are now essentially questioning the outcome of the election. They're pushing these conspiracy theories online that are not true. They're false, right? Trying to basically question the outcome of the election instead of just accepting it no matter what, which is what the liberal media said. You got to accept the outcome no matter what, right?
This is one of Elon Musk's Starlink satellite trains. And if you don't know what you're looking at exactly, it's because it's a super weird phenomenon. This is a row of almost 60 satellites, individual satellites that are flying through space. And this is actually just a few hours after launch. Over time, each satellite spreads out, creating a circle around the planet. And the goal is to launch thousands of these satellites so that eventually they create a network, a web of Starlink satellites that cover the whole planet, providing reliable internet access at high speeds to anyone on the planet. Now,
it has been confirmed that Elon Musk, you know, the founder of Tesla, Starlink, SpaceX, it's confirmed that he shut off secretly a Starlink satellite that Ukrainians were using for an attack in Crimea. This is something that we've kind of touched on a year ago, and there was no confirmation at that time. He said it was kind of just like a blackout at that time, something out of their control, and turns out he purposely did it. This information is coming from CNN that quotes a brand new book titled Elon Musk, and it is interesting that, you know, we kind of talked about how this was possible, but to actually hear and find out it's 100% true definitely makes us look at him a little bit different.
I should say I used the Starlink Mini this past week in Utah in the mountains. It's amazing.
It's amazing.
It's the size of this book.
It's amazing.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It literally fits in a small laptop case. My friend couldn't believe that was it. I was like, this is it.
I got
All we have to do is plug it in.
I got a very early one, and I used to carry it around in a laundry basket. It was incredible. And then when you see what they've done in a couple of years from this thing that was a little bit bulky, it is so beautiful and simple. And, you know, you've seen it.
Yeah.
You just plug it in, and it auto starts to rotate, figures out where it is.
Yep.
The app comes up. It shows you this, you know, speed, and then you're just going. And I've used it in all kinds of situations, like where, you know, I'm traveling, I bring it with me. It's never failed. And then I think, man, this is like, it's $100. It's less than $100.
It's crazy.
And then, you know, in a year or two, you'll be able to run your cell phone over this thing.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
Yeah.
I heard people talking about getting this and using this, you know, Starlink as well, Starlink minis, and like going off the grid and being able to use that just for some form of contact if they need to, you know what I mean? As far as possibly for your cell phone or whatever. I think, what are the prices y'all are hearing about this thing? But everything that Elon has going on, I just keep hearing Kanye in the back of my mind saying, no one man should have all that power, you know? And this is why he's constantly caught up in the media, the controversies, the different things like that, as well as his companies. But this Starlink, man, and the Starlink Mini, I wonder how it is in like weather conditions though. You know, I've been interested. I definitely want to look into it some more. So it was interesting to hear them talking about it.
In a year or two, it'll probably be straight to your cell phone, and you won't need that dish anymore. But right now, the dish is a small iPad, and you just sit it down in a field, and we plugged a cord to it. And you don't even have to have a cord. It is a battery that comes with it.
So how much do you think it really takes to give every American just a Starlink dish?
Pretty fucking cheap.
It's very cheap.
It wouldn't be $42 billion. I can guarantee you that.
And by the way, the cost of that would basically fall through the floor if you put in an order for 50 million of these units.
Right.
You know?
Right.
SpaceX would make them for like $8.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
and it's fast internet too, which is even crazier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This afternoon, I was contacted by Krista Miller, who is our Chief Clerk of Elections, regarding potentially fraudulent voter registration applications that had recently been received by her office. At that time, she informed me that the elections office received approximately 2,500 applications at or near the deadline for registering to vote. While preparing to process these applications, staff noticed that numerous applications appeared to have the same handwriting, were filled out on the same day with unknown signatures, and some were previously registered voters, excuse me, and the signatures on file did not match the signatures on the application. Lancaster County detectives began investigating the voter registration applications and immediately found applications that were indeed fraudulent.
I just want to say thank you to all of our poll workers and our inspectors for making yesterday an amazing day. We didn't have long lines after 8 p.m. Everybody got processed and through those lines quickly, and that's due to all of their hard work and dedication that they do out at the poll sites.
Registrar Michelle Baldwin says access to connectivity was improved this year thanks to Starlink satellite internet. She adds early technical difficulties with a tabulator machine were quickly fixed and did not impact vote count. 5 of the 10 volunteers assigned to the Exeter poll location did not show up, but Baldwin says all of the sites still ran smoothly and were able to be wrapped up with voters by the time polls closed at 8 p.m.
That's why it's so important for our poll workers when they commit to working on election day that they go through the training, they make the effort to do that, to really show up on election day to support the election process.
So you know how Elon Musk stated that there was an app or there was something that let him know 4 hours before the election results were out to actually know what the results were? That could be because Starlink was used to tally up some of the votes. And Starlink is Elon Musk's internet company. So I just want to know, when is the court date going to be for Elon Musk? What are we wearing to it? Also, his deportation. What are we wearing to that? Are they recording it? Can it be on TV? Every news outlet, please. So now this leads me to the question of Kamala Harris. What are you wearing to your inauguration? Like, what colors are we wearing? Because I kind of want to be in sync. Are we wearing blue, purple, tan? Tan would be a good idea, honestly. Just let me know. Let us know. I think we all would like to know as well.
Okay, I think I'm convinced now. I was going over the exit polling and looking at the total number of voters that voted for Donald Trump compared to the total number of voters that voted for Kamala Harris. And I think that I'm starting to agree that there is something weird about this election. And the thing that stands out to me the most, like the biggest red flag, when you look at the total number of voters, right, the total number of voters that participated in this election, and you see that the majority of them decided that misogyny, racism, homophobia, transphobia, bigotry in general, being a bully, being a habitual liar, having no moral compass, being a convicted felon, having pending felony charges against them, causing an insurrection to try to overthrow the government because they lost a previous election. None of those were deal breakers for them when choosing a presidential candidate. That is what is really weird about this election.
I'll be honest with you about all of it, right? And this is my thought. And I don't usually, because I like to normally sit back and just observe people. You know, you can find a lot out about a person's character if you just be quiet, let them talk, or let them show you through their actions. You can find a lot about a person. So I normally just sit back and observe. And what I'm starting to learn about or see in everything that's going on is that our system is just so flawed on both sides. All of it in its entirety. It's crazy at the things that you see, you know? And I'm watching now as they're pardoning, whether Donald Trump is pardoning and doing different things for the rioters or for himself or whatever, and then Joe Biden, him pardoning his son and doing different things. So it's like I'm just sitting back and watching everything in its entirety, bro. And I'm looking around at everybody else like, are y'all seeing all of this that's happening? No one side is better than the other. No one side is better than the other. So people kill me when they pick sides and be like, oh, well, y'all are doing this and y'all are terrible. And then they point the finger back at them and y'all are doing this. Y'all are terrible about this and this. Y'all, it's both. It's both. It's almost comical in a sense to say, wow, is this how things are going to be? Is this how things have to be? Like, whoever won, they won. Let's move forward. Let's fix things, right? But what I'm starting to see is people are still stuck in the same place. They can't let it go. Whatever the outcome was, it is the outcome. Let it go. Move forward and try to fix things together. But at the same time, that's a reflection of how you are in your own life. You're still stuck in your own life, complaining about things instead of dealing with it, moving past it, getting over an obstacle or hurdle, dealing with things. The same way you respond to this election and everything and the bickering and the putting people down and to just showing your real self, it's the same way you are in life. And you wonder why you can't progress forward, bro. Like the energies and everything, man, it disgusts me. It disgusts me. So when you come around me and I see it, I back away from you. That's it. I choose to not entertain all of that type of stuff, bro. And that's what I'm seeing with all of this. It's disgusting in a sense.
What's funny is that the reality of your actions are starting to sink in. You know, all the cognitive dissonance and all the no, he didn't. That's not what happened. That's fake news. They're not doing that. That's never going to happen. That shit is starting to sink in that you fucked up. You know, as per your Google searches. And there's nothing we can do about it unless they figure out some way to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that him and Elon Musk pulled some shit at the polls. You know, with Rogan spilling the beans and all that shit. You know, maybe they'll look into it. But other than that, this is a wrap for y'all, man. You gotta sit with your bullshit. You gotta sit in your fart stench. You fucked up. You let the country go. We're laughing. We're annoyed and we're hurt inside because all the times we were telling you guys before you went and cast your vote that these were the things that were going to take place.
So one thing I won't do, I don't put anything past no one. You know what I mean? People have their speculations, conspiracies about whether there was voting a fraud or whether there was voting manipulation. You know what I mean? They had it at the previous election and the one that just took place, right? They had their speculations. And when they do, there's nothing I can say because I don't put it past anybody, bro. What have we seen recently? Even down to the Pentagon and what's going on with these hearings, bro. That things that be happening behind the scenes that we would think, you know what, they never do that. They would never do that. It's coming to the light that they will do that, and they will go to great lengths to do that. So us sitting here and me acting like I live in this bubble and be like, nah, they would never do that. The sanctity and the sacredness of voting, they would never do that. No, I wouldn't put it past them. I'm not saying they did it. I have no clue. I have no proof. None of that. You know what I mean? But in the back of my mind, I'm not going to sit here and say that, nah, they would never do that. I'm just not that naive. I'm sorry.
Elon Musk is stirring the pot again. This time, he's wading into controversial waters with comments on Dominion voting systems. During a campaign stop for Trump in Pennsylvania, Musk hinted at debunked theories surrounding Dominion voting machines, suggesting statistically strange things in key states like Philadelphia and Arizona. But here's the kicker. Dominion doesn't even serve Philadelphia. And past accusations? They cost others a whopping $787 million. Elon's deep into the 2024 campaign, using his platform to back Trump and push controversial narratives. But is he tempting fate with these claims? Follow Mid-Mic Crisis for more tech news updates.
Musk talked about how he's all in on Trump. I just wanted to play for you. There are some expletives in here, but let me play it.
If he loses, man, what?
You're dude. If he loses him.
It does seem that way. You can't just be like, yo,
I'm like, how long do you think my prison sentence is going to be? Do you think, will I see my children? I don't know.
Hey, at least he was honest about it, bro. You know what I mean? I never really stopped to even think about it like that. What would have happened if he would have lost? If Trump would have lost, how would that have played out for Elon? Like, he did put all his eggs in one basket for sure.
Aisha, can I just ask you, when you look at Musk, Tesla's, rockets, getting people off the International Space Station, Starlink, providing internet service now for people in incredibly hard-hit areas by Hurricane Helene, and soon it will be the case with Milton. Do you think Harris would ever hold it against Musk that he supports Trump so strongly that he would give an interview and say things like that?
Kamala Harris hasn't said or done anything that would lead me to believe that she is vindictive or would ever use the power of her office to go after people who didn't agree with her in the way that Donald Trump declares that he would do. I also just wonder, what exactly is Elon betting on, right? Because he realizes that he's making a bet, and that if this bet goes south, he might be in big trouble. And so I think that we should all completely distrust him. And it begs the question, what exactly is he banking on with Donald Trump?
Good morning, TikTok. I have a Musk conspiracy theory. He has been staying with Donald Trump since the election in his Mar-a-Lago estate and hasn't left. I've heard different videos that Trump and Musk are getting on each other's nerves and he hasn't left, blah, 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 blah. Well, we also know that people have been raided recently due to things with the election. One gentleman, I don't remember, Palmy or whatever, was basically raided because his quote-unquote close to calling the election results. As we know that with Joe Rogan, Musk said to him 4 hours prior to anything that, oh, Trump won, I'm going home. Now, as we know, Elon has Starlink, and Starlink was used in this election. Also, recently, a Starlink satellite was destroyed. So, do the math. If Elon is staying with Trump, is the FBI going to come and raid Trump's estate? They don't have a valid excuse just to go there for Elon Musk. So, what is Elon Musk doing? Elon Musk is staying there, in my opinion, with Trump to avoid any of this happening. Also, if the FBI raided Mar-a-Lago with Elon Musk being there, they'd have to have other reasons for that, and it would probably give a hand to whatever the Harris administration is doing for the election. But as soon as Elon leaves and goes somewhere, they catch up to him, they're going to go for his electronics to find out what he has. Because, my opinion is that in this election, the votes that went for Trump were actually meant for Harris. And the votes meant for Harris was actually meant for Trump. In my opinion, Harris won this election, but Elon Musk switched the votes. Again, when you're looking at places where people voted all Democrat except for Trump for president, that seems kind of odd that all those things happened. So I think that Elon Musk had something to do with this. I can't prove it. It's just my conspiracy theory. But tell me what you think. Why do you think Elon Musk is staying with Donald Trump? It's because he doesn't want to get raided by the FBI. But I promise you that, I'm not going to promise actually, I'm sorry, but I'm going to tell you that more than likely when he leaves there, eventually they're going to come after him and raid him because of this.
Now, let me ask you the question. Let me pose the question based on what we just previously heard from Elon, right? Do y'all think this is worth exploring? You know what I mean? The comments he sat down with Tucker Carlson and just had, you know what I mean, that they were discussing. Do you think this is, or should we just move forward? And that's a legitimate question. I'm not saying that in a kind of snarky type of way to imply that we just need to get through this or get past it and move on. No, I'm legitimately asking, do y'all think this all is worth exploring? And our system, do we need to really look at the way things are done as far as the voting process, as far as who's involved, who should be allowed to be involved, because you're going to have more of these tech giants with the ability to say they can streamline the process of voting and make it easier and make it safer. And you know what I mean? And people will continue to question the hidden agenda, the underlying agenda of a person, you know? So, I mean, is this just going to be what it is to eternity? Or do you think, what do y'all think?
What's in it for Elon?
Elon just did an interview with Tucker, right? With Tucker Carlson. And they had this back and forth haha thing where he said, if Kamala Harris wins, I'm effed, is what he said. Yes. And then they had this little laughing thing because he has so many government contracts. And he made jokes in that same episode about why hasn't anyone tried to Kamala Harris yet. He made jokes about how he might be the next leader of the free world. He talked to Benjamin Netanyahu, and Benjamin Netanyahu said, are you allowed to be president of America? He said, not officially. And then Benjamin Netanyahu said, well, then unofficially you'll be president? There's a lot in it for Elon, so and it's not just government contracts.
All right, y'all. I need you to do something right now. Go on Google and search Elon Musk election interference. And you'll find so much evidence. Because Elon Musk is committing the largest election interference campaign in modern American history just to get Trump elected. He knows he's guilty of it, and he's doing something called projection. He's saying everyone else is committing election interference, anyone pro-Kamala, that is, to relieve himself of any suspicion. You'll never hear him say that any pro-Trump institution is committing election interference. Why do you think that is? So please look it up. Just to give you a couple examples, he's been part of an operation most recently sending fake text messages to college students in key swing states, encouraging them not to vote and that they can't vote on their college campuses. That's completely untrue. He knows that college students are more likely to vote blue because they're educated. He's also sending fake text messages pretending to be the Harris campaign, talking about something called Project 2028. Complete BS just because there's a real Project 2025 from the Heritage Foundation connected to Trump, and it makes him look really bad. So they're trying to make Kamala look bad, and he thinks it's gonna work. But Americans are smart. We see through it. And the one thing that Elon knows that he doesn't have power over is our right to vote. None of his billions of dollars can stop us from voting. He knows that our vote is more powerful than any asset he has, than anything he could possibly do to try to suppress our vote and get Trump elected. So I implore you, please vote. Do all you can. Take off work. Do whatever you need to do to vote. Experts say that if we show up in record numbers to vote, there's no way Trump can win, and he'll lose by a large margin. The only way he can win is if many of us don't vote out of apathy or for whatever reason. Elon Musk thinks that he's going to get away with all this stuff and that it's going to work, but it's not, because we are going to show up to vote and vote for Kamala Harris.
Is trouble?
Hey, I don't know a lot about a lot, but whoever ran those text message campaigns, bro, I want to work with y'all. Let's do some real estate marketing together or something like that. Let's figure out. Because y'all were so persistent with those text messaging campaigns, bro. Like, my phone was blowing up. We see you still haven't voted. You see you haven't made it there to vote yet. Such and such from Kamala. Such and such from Trump. Like, that was the most annoying but effective text messaging campaign I've ever seen, bro. I've never seen nothing like that, fam. Ever. That was crazy. Like, yeah, I want to hire some of them, fam. We can make a lot of money together. But back to this though. Y'all get at me in the comment section, man. Let me know what y'all thought of this whole thing, man. I just need to know or hear from y'all. You know what I mean? The adults, not the immature ones that are here to just spew hate because their side didn't win, or spew hate because their side did win and they don't like how they're this, that, and the third. I want to speak to the level-headed adults that, you know, want to voice their concerns legitimately, how they felt about things, and then how can we move forward. That's who I want to hear from.